Hello, baby gangsters. This is Calvin, also known as Homer, and this is my first ever playthrough of Your Turn to Die, and we are in the second stage of the game, where now it gets very much even more real than it already was. Let's go and start talking to... Well, there's 3 characters we can talk to right now, so let's start with Kotaro. There were 4 trades made in total. That ain't that many, so we're trying to figure out who has which card. Honestly, it's all a mess in my head. Glad we got even more time to sort it out. Okay, so he said there's 4 trades made in total.
By the way, I've been a commoner the whole way. Didn't even get traded even once, meow. My heart was pounding, wondering if I'd get past the bad card, meow. But my roll didn't change up to the very end.
Up to the very end, or just like all around?
I made it through all 5 trades, meow.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so he's still a commoner. Trading cards requires 50 tokens, so only so many people can make trades. The token rank inside Kotaro in... Wait. I just realized something. Sorry. I just realized something. The token rank is in Kotaro in first and Gin in last, if I heard right. Me and you and now never were near the bottom, right? I don't think we had enough tokens to trade cards. Listen to this. There are 4 trades in total. That ain't that many. Gin says there's 5 trades in total. Kotaro saying there's 4.
Muscle Girl, that's wrong, meow.
What?
There were 5 trades.
5? Wait, by my memory, there were 3 trades. Then I heard there was one, but just for the main game, so he missed one of the trades. Could that have been when he was knocked out? I get it. You misunderstood, Kotaro. There were 2 trades while you were out. Okay. What? That don't make no sense.
That's our line.
Sorry, but nobody's giving me an explanation. The fear, you can see the fear in his face, man. It's probably absolutely terrifying and confusing and all those things in between to even have to think about like what happened when you were knocked out. Like it's already a really like crazy experience to be like kidnapped and put into this location. But imagine then also being knocked out during that experience to the point that now you have a situation where like there's added confusion, right? There's already a vulnerability to the situation and now you're behind everyone when it comes to information, which feels like a disadvantage like in this game, right? Well, that's on us. Hey, Kotaro, when was it that you passed Sarah the sacrifice card? Whoa. I'm just saying it. We know he did this, but like just saying it like this. Did you have a sacrifice card from the start? No, that ain't it. What? The first card I had was a commoner. Wait. Hold on then. When did that trade happen then? I get it. That tells me most of the trades. Okay, so we know the first trade that we saw was... KG traded us a Keymaster for our commoner, right? That was the first trade.
I don't have a clue. Why is that, meow?
Because your friendly policeman made the first trade. Exactly. Yeah, we know he made the first trade.
For real? Who'd you trade? Who'd you trade the what?
I gave Sarah the Keymaster. Then what card did Sarah start with? I have no reason to lie. Commoner. Yeah, we start with commoner. Why can't I get this, man? At first I was a commoner.
You traded Keymaster for commoner, meow?
And I deepened our trust doing it. Let's do a little sort out. Okay, I love this. I love this idea. I love this idea. Oh my god, this is so interesting. Okay. Because I love figuring stuff like this out. So, in the first trade, I got the Keymaster, KG got the commoner. In the second trade, someone's sacrifice and Kotaro's commoner, Sarah's commoner, and Kotaro's sacrifice. Please tell me. Wait, what? In someone's sacrifice and Kotaro's commoner, Sarah's commoner and Kotaro's sacrifice. Oh, it's a choice, sorry. In the second trade, what got traded? It was the sacrifice and Kotaro's commoner. Exactly. So then he got the sacrifice and someone else got the commoner there. Okay. And in the third trade, he traded Keymaster for sacrifice. Sarah's Keymaster and Kotaro's sacrifice were swapped. And then that's what it'd mean.
Muscle Girl, tell us everything you can remember.
We're gonna have you tell us all the details of the third trade. Ugh. Okay, so that's what we know about the third trade. We do know eventually then the sacrifice card was swapped then from us for a commoner.
At the time of the third trade, I was searching the first floor alone, so I want to know the situation.
The third trade happened while everyone was sharing the laptop. These trades, I better keep them sorted out in my head too. So actually, can I write it down? So, first trade was Keiji to Sarah, and he gave her the Keymaster, and he took a commoner. Right? The second trade was someone to Kitaro, and that trade was Kitaro was given the sacrifice, and then someone was given the commoner. Then they're talking about the trade after that, which was with us, which was us getting the sacrifice. So it was Sarah, Kitaro, and that was Sarah getting the sacrifice, and then Kitaro getting the Keymaster. So 1 point, Kitaro had the Keymaster. If he has it now, that would be a good thing to speak up about for sure. Yeah, I wanted to write it down just in case. Oh. Oh. Wait. So we can just like... Oh, okay. Let's get this all straight out. I thought we had to write down. The top of the row of this table is what the cards everyone starts with. So that's where everyone starts. We know everyone started with these cards. Those further to the right had more tokens to spend, in broad strokes at least. The next row is what cards everyone had after the first trade. So we got traded the Keymaster after that point as well. Below that is the second trade. So someone traded... I'm kind of confused about this. The bottom row is after the fifth trade. In other words, the rolls they ended up with. So this is what everyone kind of ended up with. I'm kind of confused here because the second trade was someone trading something for Kitaro. It's what people ended up with, what we know they ended up with. So if we don't know what they ended up with, we can't write it down. I think that's what they're saying. Then we got the sacrifice after, and he got the Keymaster. We got the sacrifice here, but then we got traded with someone with the commoner, and then we ended up with the commoner in the end. It's all guesswork. I'll rework it if new information comes up. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. I think that's what it is here. So let's see now. So we can just like go on and extract everyone's kind of like, we only have 2 people here. Let's start with Kitaro. Kitaro, why aren't you talking? Oh no. Again, you okay? At the time of the third trade, I was searching the first floor alone.
I was out doing all this stuff by myself. I wanted to see the laptop.
There's 3 people here, by Reiko's here as well. What stuff did you do exactly?
It's not relevant right now. Woof.
It's not relevant. And the third trade happened while everyone was sharing the laptop.
I was worried because you were acting so strange, Sarah. To think you were traded the sacrifice. Damn, Kitaro, you're gonna make that trade? On the spot? Then act all innocent?
Something strange here. What's strange about this? Was there something? Can we talk to Kitaro again? Why aren't you talking? Yours is, at the time of the third trade, I was searching the first floor alone. I was off doing all the stuff on myself. I wanted to see the laptop, meow. And it says not relevant. Kitaro's with us. Okay, it changes. Okay, that's fine. Kitaro's with us and Sarah. Yeah, he traded sacrifice. Yeah, we'll check out this then. Is this one of those things where I might need the... Again, I know I keep like trading back and forth between the mouse. We might need the mouse. If it is the mechanic of reaching your heart, we would definitely need the mouse. Oh, I forgot to click him. Sorry. Doesn't matter if he's conscious of his crime. Taking action like that is the worst. So yeah, we'll do this again. Click on this. We saw this happen, yeah. We saw his face change. Why don't you deny it, Kitaro? What? I mean, you need to ring a box to trade. Oh, he wasn't there. Yeah, you do. So he couldn't just trade it right then and there because he was with us. You're so right. If he used it on the spot, shouldn't we have seen him do it 100%? Because I was thinking, oh, he has the tablet. No, you need the box to trade. So we have to think about who wasn't in the room at the time of this happening with the laptop. That would be Gin and So, right? Because So ran off at that point. I think everyone else was around, right? Right? Was everyone else around? What could he be hiding? Here we are. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, yeah, I didn't even think of that because I was just thinking of the tablets. Oh, God. Did we do it? Did we do it at all here? Be silent as you want, it's no use. Spit it all out, Kitaro. I meant to cooperate with Sarah with everyone. What do you mean I meant to cooperate with Sarah and everybody, with everyone? But I got used for convenience. I'm pathetic. Oh, no. Then if he's talking about being used, is he talking about like the stuff with So? Because remember, he felt like he was maybe, we thought he was pressured into working with So. The third trade, my sacrifice being sent to Sarah. It wasn't me, it was So's doing. Honestly, that does make, if So went off at that one moment there, then he probably could do it. But then he would also need his tablet, right? What? I don't know what you're talking about. So knew. He knew I had the sacrifice. What? When everyone was sharing the laptop, So wasn't going to use the toilets. That's what I'm saying. Again, we don't know the full story. I'm not just trying to sit here and like judge everyone before anything happens, but that was like our theory. Like, did So go off and do something in that moment? He went to use a ring-up box to trade my sacrifice in Sarah's keymaster. So if you hear a garbage truck outside, they're just, they're doing their job and stuff like that as well. Hopefully it's not too distracting.
Don't know a thing about that. Wait a second. He chose 2 other people and made them trade? You can do that?
I thought maybe he like, if he said he was like under pressure, did he give him his tablet or something? It must be possible, huh?
So you can say that with confidence.
I can't say that with confidence. I don't know if that's a rule. I cannot say that with confidence. So isn't it about time you confess? Oh, So being put on the spot here again. Tell us your real reason for sharing the laptop.
Such a deeply suspicious individual, KG.
So we're making more progress here as well. Yeah, it's... Oh. Oh, I love the artwork for So. It's so cool. The discussion is stuck in equilibrium and failing to come to an agreement. Here's the thing, like, I want to say, like, it's totally right to be suspicious of So here. It's more than right to be suspicious of So here. He went off, used the toilet at that time, and then a trade happened. But again, we don't know the details of how you can do that. I thought it was just he took his Kitaro's tablet or something. But, like, we don't know. So, like, I think this is the right thing to do here because we have no idea exactly what's happening here. And again, as I said, it's okay to not trust So in this situation. It's also wrong to just, like, paint him with a brush that we don't even know what the paint is. We don't even know what the color paint we're using right now. How about you hear the truth from your mouth? About what? Between the statements these 2 give, I should either affirm the correct ones or deny the incorrect ones. So at least it's more clear now who's affirming because I think it's going to be like... Is it? I think it is. So it's I was on the toilet, so I couldn't either. Kitaro couldn't do the third trade. I mean, the truth is Kitaro couldn't do the third trade, right? So we affirm this. Exactly, because he was with us. It's impossible. It was literally impossible because he couldn't get to a ring-up box. I love this So artwork. It's so good. The question is, how did you know the sacrifice? Just rolling on ahead with this assumption that I knew, huh? Did he learn about Kitaro's sacrifice via hacking? Couldn't I just take a peek to do that? That is not wrong. You probably could take a peek to do that. Yeah. Like, it's not that hard. Like, we thought that as well. You could look at someone's tablet, right? Precisely, you saw it directly. Kitaro's intent was to negotiate with So. And as So's condition for his trade, he showed So his sacrifice card. It's natural to think that. We are making quite a few assumptions here. But they're educated assumptions because, again, if you look at the situation, again, as I said, totally right to distrust So. We just don't know the details of how he can do this. That's my problem. Such an active imagination, Miss Sarah. How about you use that imagination to consider what their negotiation was like? Kitaro started to negotiate outside So's bedroom door. We did see him outside someone's door, right? Were you watching or what is a crazy thing to say here. Can we affirm this? Even So's already recognized that fact. That's right. How did So react to Kitaro's proposition? I'm not brave enough to let Kitaro in. He must have let him in the room and quickly struck a deal. We didn't hear about them letting him in the room. I remember someone saying someone was like outside someone's door. I think that was probably Kitaro, right? He must have let him in the room. I'm not brave enough to let Kotaro in. He must have let... Well, here's the thing, though. I was going to affirm this. But here's the thing. Maybe it is that. Because I was saying, like, I don't think So is afraid of Kotaro. I don't think he is. That's why the whole thing, I'm not brave enough. But he must have let him in the room and quickly struck a deal. We know that they didn't get let into the room, right? So can we deny Keiji in this sense? Because again, I genuinely think that when it comes to Kana and Kotaro, So has no problem with dealing with them. He has no problem. And he said, yeah, I'm sure So was on guard. Kotaro had taken the laptop from him once before. Oh, maybe that's what they meant. But it still works. Okay, that was because I was thinking like, yo, you're not brave enough. So maybe he just did what he wanted to keep the laptop. Yeah. Kotaro had taken the laptop from him once before, so he wouldn't let him in the room with no questions asked. Then did they make a deal through the door? How amusing, I just thought of a way. Kotaro slipped the tablet onto the door. Wouldn't you consider I might betray him? See, here's the thing. It's what like this is a firm for this as well, because I think So is being intentionally kind of like a little bit standoffish here. Wouldn't you consider I might betray him? Like, I don't think when Kotaro gets into a position where he's kind of like not thinking in the right mind, I don't think he wouldn't think that. I don't think he would think that. But also, Kotaro said he also was pressured, right? Or so he was like under duress of some kind. So I don't think it's about him considering if he might betray him. I think he kind of had to maybe in some ways. And I was thinking it was because maybe he was like gonna blackmail him about the camera. Kotaro slipped a tablet on the door. I think this is possible. And this lines up with my theory that he used the tablet to change it. We could try this. There we go. That actually went way better than last time. Last time I was dying. That is exactly what Kotaro did to propose his deal. So must have been fairly wary of Kotaro, who could best him using force. I didn't think that. My thought, if that's the case, that's true. But like in my mind, I didn't go to that at all, because I think that for me, I thought So with Kana and Kotaro wouldn't even think that they would do anything like that, because I feel like he feels like maybe he can control them when it comes to like, you know, or control the situation with his mind. And he has been very good at like controlling situations with his mind. He has been. So I just never thought about the idea of him thinking that he was going to use force. Yeah, so, but that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. I can't deny like the game's interpretation or telling of what the characters feel, you know? If this is how they feel. I know Sarah's just saying this, but maybe it is how he feels. So Kotaro informed that he was a sacrifice in advance. Not vocally, but by showing him his tablet. So you had yet another objective on top of the tokens in Sarah and the Sarah folder. To control the sacrifice as you want it. You got it. So you're admitting it? Just out then and there? After the second trade, me and Kana were working on an escape plan. Then I heard Kotaro through the door. Want to make a deal, he said? I didn't care to listen, but he slid the tablet onto the door. And there I saw it. Sacrifice. How brave of him to go as far as offering up info just so I'd share the laptop. So we know now that So is admitting to somehow changing us to sacrifice. But we got that traded away from us as well. Now, what's so crazy about this too is that, like, again, the targeting of like Sarah is he has a thing with Sarah. He 100% does, because there's no doubt in anyone's mind here. Sarah, like, not no doubt, because again, we still have got to know each other, but everyone else kind of feels like they trust Sarah and they kind of rely on Sarah. But I don't think So feels the exact same way. That's why he wants to do like the laptop stuff as well, the Sarah folder, all this stuff too. But he traded, but like that means what happened there. If this is what we're thinking, then we'll see what happens. As soon as he found out Sarah wasn't a bad person from the laptop's perspective, not saying that's a fact. As soon as he then saw the guy with the scarf, he ran off and did the trade right away for some reason. If that's what happened. What do you know? Sarah, you saw the first floor security footage, right? We did. There you go. He said it was AI before, but it was the truth. I haven't discussed my first trial, have I? It was an absurd trial, I tell you. They told me to set up props to use for... Oh, whoa. That is awful. Then it's true, you set up the cards? Of course I did. I didn't know what they meant yet. Once I found out, I knew Kai's fate was set. Oh. So he thought, in that moment, he was like, okay, it's over. He was like, okay, Kai is... And he only realized after he set down the cards and everyone took them up. It's like I killed him. Kai took the sage card I placed at random. Look at his face as well. Kotaro, I'm going to say this right now, right? Again, not your fault at all. It's not you, like, you killed him. And the reason I say this is, like, yes, is it normal for him to feel kind of like bad about this? More than normal. Everyone will be tore up about this. I will be tore up about this. But, like, if an evil kidnapper said to one of us after they trapped us in this building and basically told us that your job is you have to place these cards around this place right now, right? For a split second, you might be like, F off, buddy, you know? But we can't say how we would feel in that moment. Place these props around here for the game. I'm willing to bet that 99.9% of people under that fear would do it easily. And we know Kotaro also doesn't react well to fear. His personality changes. He goes on to the offensive. That's why I at least wanted to get Kai's laptop back one more time.
Such an emotional story.
So this is like, it's one of those things where, like, So, as I said, he drops the gasoline on the embers whenever he can. Whenever he does it, also, like, you know, feels a little bit insensitive sometimes too. But, like, the thing is as well with the guitar situation is that, like, it's not Kataro's fault at all that Kai died. It's not even nearly his fault.
That's what drove you to give me a whole 100
tokens.
100, meow?
Oh shit, that's enough for 2 trades.
But you left yourself enough just for 1 trade. How cunning, pretend to risk your life but forgetting to protect yourself.
Do you think then this is what happened then? If he can do 2 trades, maybe he didn't trade... No, but that doesn't make any sense. Unless he traded for... something for Kataro's No. Is it possible no, maybe I'm thinking maybe like this is how you do it. If he traded Kotaro for his sacrifice when he was knocked out. Right? And then, or was that after the laptop? Maybe I'm getting the time mixed up, but I'm thinking, like, is it possible that he traded Kotaro for his sacrifice to give himself the sacrifice and then traded the sacrifice to Sarah? Not that he can control trades amongst people, but maybe he, like, did a double trade with himself and Sarah.
What a dirty adult you are.
Oh, no, come on. Again, it's not Kataro's fault. Say again?
All told, you left yourself an escape route. If you're in a pickle, you could pass the sacrifice away from yourself. That's why I decided to act first and send the sacrifice to someone else. Miss Sarah, always thinking of her allies.
Is that the truth of the 3rd trade?
I was hoping it might make you tear off your sheep's clothing.
That's, again, this is what I think he thinks of Sarah. He thinks that she is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Why does he do all this to me? Because exactly what he says. He thinks you are a wolf in sheep's clothing. He thinks you are a danger. He thinks somehow that you were going to do something bad to him.
But you went above and beyond my expectations.
Huh?
The 4th trade was you, wasn't it, Miss Sarah? We didn't trade a thing. We didn't have enough coins.
We were on the lower end. We did not have enough coins.
What are you talking about? I mean, the sacrifice is what killed Joe, yes?
I didn't do any trade. I didn't have tokens. I didn't have enough tokens. I couldn't do any trades.
No tokens, it's hard to believe. Quiet, loner. I was a big Sarah for the 4th trade. Woof.
So was I. Sarah didn't do any trade then. Exactly.
Well, then it must have been an ally who did it for you.
See, again, I think he's such an interesting character. Because he was doing this kind of like little behind the scenes, like, I'll do this trade for Kotaro and trade it back and forth and all this stuff as well. He believes someone else is capable of it, right? And that's what's so interesting about, like, the human mind is, like, you know, if you're someone who, like, is kind of like a little bit sneaky sometimes, you're very defensive, you see the world as kind of like negative, it's because, like, in a lot of ways, like, you can do the stuff that you think other people are capable of. Like, if you think someone's lying to you all the time, it's probably because you are, like, and again, I do think we've seen Soul lie quite a bit, right? I think genuinely is one of those things, you see the world and how, like, you know what people are capable of. And so for So to think Sarah would do something like this is because he would do something like this, right? He genuinely thinks Sarah is bad, so he's projecting maybe some of his, like, not so great qualities onto her, as a way to, like, expose her and make her seem like the bad person that he believes she is. It's not like he's trying to lie about it. He truly believes she's bad, and in that sense, he will get the full answer of if she's a bad person.
Keiji, you took the sacrifice from Miss Sarah, didn't you?
What?
What's the meaning of this? It's really very simple. The two of them were accomplices.
That not at all. Not even nearly.
Miss Sarah and Miss Keiji formed a terrifying plan involving the sacrifice.
Do you think she... Okay, I know what he's going to get at here. He's going to say that, like, what? Keiji gets chosen, and then he chooses us to survive, maybe. But, like, do you genuinely think Sarah would do this? I'm going to use this name. Gin. Do you think Sarah would let Gin die? Like that? Like, really?
To achieve victory in the main game by the way of said sacrifice.
It just does not... It does not add up, so... Gin would like... We would not let Gin die.
They schemed to escape by working together and having Keiji win the vote.
It just does not make a lick of sense to me. Like if you know the relationship between Sarah and Gin, he would not in any way, shape, or form. She would not in any shape or form, any way, shape, or form do this.
I suspect the fifth trade that followed was Miss Sarah and Keiji making a bluff. They picked up two random commoners to have trade. Then the sacrifice is Keiji? That's all a wild fabrication.
I mean, the sacrifice I had was taken away by the fifth trade. It definitely was.
Soul spouting nonsense to lead everyone by the nose. If my reasoning is correct, Keiji's the sacrifice and the sage is Miss Now, perhaps?
So he believes that Keiji took the sacrifice from us and then like he wants us to use it to save us, right? And he believes the sage then is Now.
I'm the sage? Yep, so it may well be fine to have Miss Now die this time.
Don't say this. I mean, like, again, someone's gonna have to die, but please, let's not say it yet.
Wait a second. At the start you said you were the sacrifice. Yep, that was a lie. I'm a commoner. No way, then wouldn't you be in the same boat as me? I see. Guess choosing anybody but Keiji is the same as in the end. Let's vote for Kana, since she's the least...
Don't... No. We're not... Don't... You're gonna upset Kana so badly here.
So...
Enough. Keiji stepping in here. Because again, it's... With So's, like, line of reasoning all the time, it's so interesting. Whenever he, like, explains his line of reasoning, his ideas behind everything... it really feels like in a lot of ways he lives in a different world due to like his mental state. I genuinely think, and we saw like what he sees of Sarah as like his cold-blooded murderer who was ready to kill her at any moment. He genuinely believes that like all these characters are plotting, and some of them might be. I want to make it clear, we don't know if like Keiji's like a good person fully. We don't know if any of these people have like dark secrets. You know what I mean? But right now it's one of those situations where it's so interesting to see So's mind and how it works when it comes to this stuff. It's been a long time since I've hated somebody this much. Whoa, Keiji. Here's a friendly little police report. I long since used up all my tokens.
And you want me to just believe that?
So you're just dying to say I ended up with being the sacrifice, aren't you? Disclosure? I'm the Keymaster. Wait. So we got the Keymaster back off of, Kotaro? Was it? Wait, was it? Because if it was Kotaro's trade that traded us for the Keymaster to give us the sacrifice, that means he traded again with Kotaro at one point? If it was Kotaro, right? If that's how it works.
Huh? What are you saying? The Keymaster is Kotaro, though.
Looks like we got him good. What? I'm the sage. He's just saying it outright. Oh my, looks like we got him good. Did they plan this? Kataro's a sage? Ridiculous, that's impossible. This is a plan imploding for So. It's possible, right? And as a sage, I'm making an announcement. Cage is without a doubt the Keymaster. Wait, did you like make a plan?
Can't be true, that's all.
You're on the right track to think accomplices. But it wasn't Sarah though, it was Kotaro. Oh, they work together. Oh my god, that means the sacrifice. If they're telling the truth, the sacrifice is not Keiji or Kotaro. Oh, he's looking so distraught here. See, that's the thing. So has like a look of like such confidence when he is on a roll with his extrapolations. But then as soon as his like walls come, like you knock down the walls around him, you can see the anxiety in his face. Let's tell the truth of the four trades, shall we? The trade between Mr. Policeman and Kotaro. First, when So betrayed me with the sacrifice, I went stomping around in rage. When I heard about what happened, I proposed to Kotaro we team up.
And so in the fourth trade, Keiji and Kotaro cards got traded? That's four trade sure ended up punishing the loner now. Meow? Hold on, Kotaro, weren't you passed out during the fourth trade?
Okay, so a lot of statements here as well. Again, the timeline's a bit crazy to me, but let's look at this here. So, what we're looking at is we traded to get the Keymaster. We then had the Keymaster after the second trade, and then the sacrifice was somehow gotten from someone else to Kotaro. Then after that, the sacrifice in the third trade was traded to Sarah. After that, in the fourth trade, we still had the sacrifice, but then the Keymaster was traded somehow with Kotaro. So how did he get this? Wait. How did he get the Sage? Am I just very silly when it comes to stuff? How did he get the Sage? Because if he had the Keymaster, he would have to trade with someone else for the Sage, right? Maybe I'm like just being very silly about this. No. Okay. Yeah? No. Maybe I'll explain it as time goes on here. Sometimes I get what it's trying to do here, but like I understand right up to the third trade. But then this stuff here, like with the Sage and stuff, definitely is kind of like a little bit like, how did he get the Sage? That's what I'm asking. So let's talk to everyone. We usually go from across.
Hold on, Kotaro, weren't you passed out during the fourth trade?
So can we extract this stuff here?
Weren't you passed out during the fourth trade? I mean, Keiji got and do the trade himself, but
he's panicking. He is panicking. He hasn't worked out his logic, because his logic was like, again, he's confident when he has his logic and he's able to talk as much as possible. But as soon as it's broken down, it's over for him. He'll probably come up with something else though. First, when So betrayed me with the sacrifice, I went stomping around in rage. Seeing you acting funny, Sarah, I was convinced the sacrifice I'd move to you. I wouldn't let it stand. I decided to knock him down and take my tokens back. Did you do that? Keiji noticed me then and came to talk. He persuaded me to give it up. Didn't know what So was thinking after all. And so I trusted Keiji and had him take custody of all my remaining tokens. All of them? Wait. So Keiji took all of Kotaro's tokens after he knocked So down to get the tokens? So in this moment here, he got the Keymaster. Maybe you guys can explain what I'm missing here. Maybe I'm just being a bit silly. When I learned about the sacrifices, I proposed to Kotaro we team up. Okay. Did we extract that, or did we like? I don't know if we extracted it. That said, when I first spotted him, I just pacified him since he was pissed. But I ended up talking with Kotaro and we talked things over. In the fourth trade, I traded my card with Kotaro's Keymaster. But actually, I went and did this trade myself while Kotaro was passed out. But then how did he get the Sage card though? How did you get the Sage card? Seems Kotaro figured it out during the main game and was able to put the story together. It's all owed to the power of that card, even my noticing of Kotaro's Keymaster. How did that, wait, you understand what I'm saying? Like, how did, he was Keymaster all the way to, I know, unless, in the second trade, we don't know what happened. We didn't see it. So maybe he traded for the Sage during this time. That would make sense, right? And then he got traded the Keymaster, and then he traded that with Kotaro. Then that would make sense, right? That would make sense. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, because the second one we didn't see exactly what happened. You okay again?
The fourth trade sure ended up punishing the loner now. Meow.
Did I extract or did I sometimes forget to extract, I guess.
I'm sure Mr. Policeman was burning up with desire to see justice carried out. Meow. He used the whole 50 tokens to trade cards with Muscle Gorilla just to defeat the loner. Woof. Huh? The fourth policeman said he didn't have any tokens at the fourth trade. Meow. Then he couldn't have traded. Woof.
Wait. Do we put the verses with these two? He gave him all his tokens, and so the fourth trade, Cage and Gataro's cards got traded. I'm getting confused. It is kind of confusing. Should we try to do a versus on this then? He didn't have any tokens in the fourth trade, so he couldn't do the fourth trade. Katara says he gave him all his tokens.
You gave him all your tokens?
Sure did. Seems like that landed way outside of So's ballpark.
Shut up!
So is panicking. It's a lack of control in this whole situation right now, you know? Running out of leeway, are we?
I still got doubts. I can't be convinced with just that.
And honestly, that's not a bad thing. While, like, again, it's clear that So got some stuff wrong here for sure, because the other guys were definitely planning something. And So was definitely trying to be like a bit, once again, he's trying to work around this game as crafty as he can be. But it's still good for anyone to have doubts. It's still good for all of us to question everything, you know?
After all, Keiji, why were you able to know about Katara having the Keymaster? Isn't the only way to do that during the main game is with the Sage's power of clairvoyance?
So you still don't know. Let's resume the discussion. We were able to extract a new statement from So. I just have to keep going. So is it because at some point, like as I said in the second trade that we didn't see who traded, that he traded for the Sage, or someone traded him for the Sage? Because wasn't KG with us at the time during that trade? Was that that time? It's all owed to the power of that card, even my noticing of Katara's Keymaster. Did I say anything strange? KG noticed something that was up with me, and I handed KG all my tokens. Sure enough, seems like I got knocked out and taken out in advance.
Seeing through the Keymasters isn't the only way to do that during the main game. Isn't that the only way to do that during the main game? With the Sage's power of clairvoyance. Muscle Gorilla handed over all his tokens that he earned himself, meow. What a rash gorilla, woof.
And so in the fourth trade, KG and Gataro's cards got traded. So that's the same thing? I'm getting confused. So wait, what do we... it is confusing. It is kind of confusing. I wonder if it's like... I don't know. If it's one of the situations where we can like put someone versus each other again? Did I say anything strange? Do we just put these versus each other? Is that it? Just to be like so can question KG? Like, how did you get this card, I guess?
The power of that card, you don't mean...
Yeah, the Sage's clairvoyance, of course.
The Sage could use clairvoyance outside the main game?
That's pretty crazy. That So didn't even know this, because So is usually like the one of the people that would like kind of like be aware of the stuff, or like at least like is aware of a few tricks here or there, right? Or at least I would say like kind of does experiments to see if there's a few tricks here or there. That's what the tablets are for.
You intentionally didn't mention it.
Unravel all the mysteries now. And again, that's also another part of So's personality, and it's kind of sad, and you know, in a way where it's like he, again, I think he sees what he does as like for the greater good. Because at one point, he also in the first game lied about what a card can do, because he knew a card had a dummy rule on it, and he never said anything until like later into the game. And now he's saying to KG, you didn't say anything about this, why didn't you say anything about this, you know? This should prove it. Mr. Policeman used clairvoyance to see Katara's Keymaster. Then I made the fourth trade to swap Katara's Keymaster on my Sage. And now there isn't even a need to discuss the fifth trade anymore. Convinced of your victory earlier, you confessed I'm a commoner. You confessed I'm a commoner. Any other questions? So they're saying it's safe to like... But we still don't know who the sacrifice is. And there's something odd about KG's story. It'll become clear if I look back at the trades so far. The card I had first was the commoner, and KG was the keymaster. Okay, they are explaining this. And in the first trade, the keymaster was sent to me, and my commoner to KG. The next, the second trade. So that was the second trade. The sacrifice went to Katara from someone else's commoner. Okay, so I got that wrong. Yeah, how did he get the Sage card? The next was a third trade. Yeah, how did he get the Sage? So he initiated a trade that sent me the sacrifice and Katara the Keymaster. And the fourth trade, the Keymaster went to Keiji and the Sage to Katara, but how did he did that's how, okay, I was right to question that. At first I was kind of explaining away, but no, it's like no. How did he get the Sage? The part that's strange is the Sage card. How did he get the Sage? The Sage is out of place. There's no other Sage here on the list of trades. Keiji should have been a commoner the whole time. So why did Keiji have the Sage at the time of the fourth trade? It's such an interesting... Because again, at the time I was kind of like... We did question, we're like, how did he get the Sage? That doesn't make any sense. But then I was like, maybe he did it during the second trade we didn't see. Maybe it was the trade... But that was Kataro. That must mean Keiji's first card wasn't the Keymaster, but we had the... Wait, what? Wait, how does that work then? Did we get traded? Did someone else trade us? The Keymaster? But that would mean he'd be pretending, right? Am I ready to believe that he was lying at the start about the Keymaster? It's more, I would be more like, say, like, I'm going to use go this because, again, I think this is a possibility then, but I wonder how you'd even accomplish that. So let's say this instead. That's not it. Because Keiji was able to see the Katara was the Keymaster. So it's true that he had the Sage. But the trades don't make sense. So it was, okay, so I guess I could go with my first instinct. Because the first time I was just like, I didn't want to believe that, like, maybe, like, how could you do that? But I guess it is that. That must mean, yeah, like legitimately, the reason why I didn't want to pick the first one, right, is legitimately just because I was like, yes, it's a possibility, but I didn't think it was that because how would the logistics even work with that? Keiji's first card being the Keymaster, that was a lie. So someone else traded us the Keymaster at the start. Did he plan that? Did he get someone else to trade it with us? There's so many things going on. Keiji had the Sage from the beginning. And so his clairvoyance let him see who had the Keymaster from the beginning too. Which is why in the first trade he can make me and the person... So you can make other people trade. That's just a fact now? We're going with that? But if he did that... Hasn't he been lying to me this whole time? Yeah, the trust is gone. Like, that's the thing. It's like... And again, here's the thing. I understand that people lie in these games as we said they would. But I think it's fair to say then, for Sarah's perspective, it's like, you were lied to this entire game. At that point... And not only that, it's like... You were kept on the outside of this plan. And it's a different situation if he never said anything about it, or if he just said one line like, yeah, I traded you the Keymaster, right, to enact this plan. But what happened was Keiji made a statement to say that it is a game of trust and I'm giving you this Keymaster card so you will trust me. If that's based upon a lie, then that would feel very weird for Sarah. It'd feel very weird for me as well. Are you really going to vote for So? Now. Something's not right. We should discuss this a little more. I agree with now. Don't be stupid. You're a candidate now. If discussion leads to you getting picked... I'm afraid too, but I just get this weird feeling. Are we sure So is really a commoner, and that Keiji's the Keymaster? Something is very, very odd. You're exactly right, there's still mysteries remaining. In the fifth trade, why did someone trade the sacrifice for the sacrifice I had? And the other party was a commoner. This isn't a problem we can ignore. Yeah, this is the fifth trade. We should talk about some more. If by any chance we pick the sacrifice, we're done for, you know. Yeah, but the thing is as well, though, is like, there's lies going on here just beyond So. As we said, this would happen. We said this like during this, at the start of this and the last time too. So lies, right? Other people have lied too. Other people have lied. Other people have kept the truth from people. There's lies going on here also, and we need to find out why people are lying. We shouldn't need any more discussion. There's a chance that you have lied to Sarah for the entire game. For the entire investigation. When you yourself brought up the idea of building things on trust. It'd be so different if it was just like, again, we've seen fibs happen, now lie to us to do something for the greater good. So did So lie to us about the laptop and stuff like this as well. 100%. Katara was lied during this game. But it's the fact that you said it's about a game of trust. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm giving this to you so we can trust each other. It changes things for me in my book. It's like someone saying like, hey, I'll always look out for you, and then 2 minutes later doing something to not look out for you, you know? Digging up bold conclusions is just going to make us more lost. It's your turn to die, so don't say it like that. Jesus. That's how this will end. Come on. We don't need to say it like this. It's still a freaking like yeah, oh, he's lied and manipulated, right? 100%, 10%. Has his decisions almost led to someone else's dying as too? But that doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and be like, yes, so time to die. It's not, even if So dies, it's not going to feel good in any way, shape, or form.
No, we can't do that, Keiji. As long as we have time, we should seek the truth.
All right. Let's do it. We'll discuss the roles of the 4 who are in the final vote. You get what I'm saying? I know that So also was very like forceful in the idea of who's gonna die.
110%. He almost did it to us.
Like, remember that in the first game? Like, he was totally okay with us like being the one who should like be killed or whatever, right? No, maybe I remember that wrong, but like he was totally okay with other people. Like, you know, he's okay at least on the surface of pointing out other people that should be killed, right? That doesn't mean I'm gonna like turn around on myself for my own personal morals and feelings. Be like, yeah, time to die, So. Time to die, you know? There's someone who moved at Sierra's sacrifice via the 5th trade.
If Keiji's the Keymaster, So Kana now should be the sacrifice, right? Is the loner really a commoner? Should we believe that?
It's alright, So was convinced the whole time that Sarah traded away the sacrifice. In other words, Kana or Now, which of them would have had the sacrifice?
I don't believe it. Keiji and Kitaro are lying.
I do think there's some lies going on here. It's crazy sometimes for me to agree with So, but I do think there's some lies going on here, honestly. I don't believe that Keiji and Kitaro are lying.
Damn it.
So isn't seeming very persuasive at all, because I think he's just like it's passion more than anything. We're seeing something that's rarely happens for So, which is like a panic, because usually he's sometimes like very much, at least to some extent, feeling in control. So was convinced the whole time that Sarah traded away the sacrifice. That's to say, So fell for Keiji's trick. The location of the sacrifice or any other card he didn't know one lick about the truth. If he'd stolen my tablet when he knocked me out, maybe he could have learned my card. But I kept it on me all times just to avoid that. Kept it tucked on beneath my clothes. But we have your tablet, right? So he didn't have the chance to do tomfoolery. He's a commoner. We have his tablet. Right? Do we like present the tablet on this, or should we yeah, we should, right? I know we can listen to other people. We already heard their statements. Like, if we know the answer, I have your tablet. I kept a tablet at all times, so I didn't have a chance to do tomfoolery. Then what's this? What's this? Katara, you're saying you had your tablet on you at all times, huh? Yes? Yep, take a look, it's right here. And when you woke up, where was it? On the table in the last supper room. You see, and even he's realizing he was given a replacement tablet. I call that being off. You meow exactly again. You're exactly correct here. It's so interesting when everyone has a response to, like, you know, kind of like, it's almost like what happens in real life when you have a realization or something happens that sends a chill down your spine. You can see these characters like crumble right in front of you. As I thought, that tablet Katara has now is a spare. This is the tablet I picked up, was lying near when you were passed out. What'd you say? I would assume this is Katara's original tablet. The question is, why was it lying on the floor? So took it? It's because So took the tablet from Katara. We kind of thought someone would have taken the tablet, right? What? But they're locked by fingerprints. Woof. Sure, but while near him, he could bypass that simply by pressing the fainted Katara's finger into it. Yeah, 100%. And so we arrive at an outrageous truth. What do you mean by that? Depending on when So looked at the tablet, he might have seen through her entire strategy. Wait, is this 4D chess So? The worst time for it would be after the 4th trade. That's when Katara had the Sage and I had the Keymaster. Is this 4D chess So? If So, like, man, if So was actually being 4D chess here, then he is a better actor, and we should be way more worried about this character. Because he made me go like, oh my god, he's breaking. If he saw the tablet dead, he could use Katara's Sage power to also know I was the Keymaster. So has just been acting fooled? No way. Shoot you. No way. If that's the case, man, this character is legitimately, first of all, just like way ahead of all the other characters in terms of the steps they're taking ahead of them, right? And I think this is how you write, if this is the case, this is how you write a character like that, right? Where you can see that he is steps ahead, and not just telling us that he steps ahead, you see he steps ahead of people. Or not, wonder if I'm acting right now, or maybe I'm telling the truth. This is actually like, if you want to like confuse the situation so people don't pick you to die, this is actually very smart, right? If people are already worried if you're telling the truth or not, then don't give them the full truth of what you think the full truth is. Put the doubt in their mind. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying it's like, you know, no, actually, I'm gonna say it. Like, as much as I like don't get along with So, and So has done some stuff that, like, as we said, 110%, the stuff with the cards and manipulation stuff, that too. He had no problem being bad in that sense too. But I'm talking about from So's perspective. It's not me going like, oh, poor So. It's me saying from So's perspective, why on earth, in any way, shape, or form, would you give these guys a little bit of leeway when they decided to kill you? When that's what Keiji and Gitaro's plan was here, it's your turn to die. Again, like I said, what he did in the first game, I'll never trust him fully. You know? It's impossible to. But I'm saying from So's perspective, if I'm So, and I'm manipulating stuff and moving around there, doing all this like secretive stuff, and then two of these people say they're going to kill me, and they want me to die, then they ask me a question, you're not getting nothing. You're not getting anything out of me. So, not good. There's a possibility that So has a sacrifice. So as it stands, there's no way we can vote for So. That doesn't mean we can't just vote for Connor now either. Whew. Well then, let's resume the discussion, guys. So didn't even have to do anything. He just had to be lurking in the background, knowing that he could have done something to change this whole discussion from So, your turn to die to let's get back to a discussion, guys. You know what I mean? He didn't have to lift a finger. And that's what I'm saying. When it comes to writing a smart character for me, like sometimes you'll have in like games or in TV shows or movies where they're like, he's so smart. And the only reason he's smart is because the game or TV show or movie lets them be smart, right? They kind of like bypass like all the other characters' intelligence. And sometimes the other characters will even act dumb to kind of be like, let's make him more smart, you know? It's like when you're kind of like, oh no, it's obvious. For So, I think it's like the way they do it is they always have him be steps ahead of everything. Not always. Sometimes he looks a bit frazzled. Sometimes he always like is taken off guard. That makes him more human, right? But with So, it's one of those situations where it generally is they've written a character where you don't know what he's holding in his hands at all times. And you could say, well, Calvin, it's not really intelligence, it's just being conniving. You could say that too, 100%. But I'm just saying, like, in terms of being a character, I feel like they've written a character, whether you want to say intelligence, conniving, mysterious, whatever, they've written a character that is well written to the point that, like, he worries all of us. He is the unknown variable in every single situation. And it doesn't just feel like characters are, like, you know, willfully ignoring. Because, you know, like, you know what I'm talking about in a movie where, like, they'll be like, man, this killer is way ahead of all of us all the time. It's like, well, no, they wrote you as a police officer to not pick up on very obvious evidence. And it's like, he's so smart. But in this case, it's like, you see how he could fool people. In this case, he didn't even lift a finger, and it went around from him being the accused one that's going to be executed to being back to another discussion. He didn't even lift a finger. It's pretty crazy. We'll discuss who is safe to vote for. And it could have been unintentional, we don't know, but I'm saying that regardless of, let's say it's unintentional and he didn't plan for this to be a thing where, like, oh, he's going to come back around to this. And let's say I'm giving that too much credit. That could be a possibility too. But what I'm saying is, in that moment, he realized, let's say he didn't have this master plan. But in that moment when he realized that they thought he had a master plan, he realized he could take advantage of that too. If it's that, or if he did have a master plan, or he realized he could take advantage of the idea that they think he has a master plan, either or, he's very good at taking a situation that is not in his favor and turning it around ever so slightly. And sometimes he doesn't have to do it himself. But you get what I'm saying. It's either he came up with a plan and he's so conniving and waste ahead of people that it's like, oh God, like, what else did he do? Or it's that he didn't come up with a plan and he realized in that moment that they're suspicious of him, so he used their suspicions to be like, oh, you're suspicious of me? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Like, thinking on his feet kind of way. So either way, it's like this thing where he's not infuriated. He's how do I say? He's a character I don't trust, right? But he's also a character that is so intriguing to me. Because I know there's something deeper there when it comes to his feelings against Sarah, when it comes to his emotions and why he's so like conniving and has a lack of trust with characters and why he's so manipulative. Because he is manipulative. He is. There's no way of looking around it, and that's why I think he's interesting. Do I like his methods? No. Do I think he's interesting? Yes. 110%. He's an interesting character to follow. So we have this character that all times terrifies me, but I want to learn more all the time as well. He's so good in that sense.
So's an absolute no-go. He's the most likely to pull this kind of trick, and that's why he has once again dropped gasoline into the embers of our campfire. But between Bucket Girl and Big Sis Bucket Girl and Big Sis Now, is there any real difference? Woof?
You need a certain amount of tokens to trade the sacrifice from Sarah in the 5th trade. So here we go again with this stuff once again. Okay, let's just extract. We gotta find the one with the least chance of having the sacrifice. Well, I don't know the aim of the one who did the trade, but what possibilities are there? You need a certain amount of tokens to trade the sacrifice from Sarah in the 5th trade. If you consider the token counts, you'll get your answer. Okay. But between Bucket Girl and Big Sis Now, is there any real difference? Woof. All I can think of is tokens. Oh, there we go, is it? Bucket Girl had a lot, and Big Sis Now only had a little. So we're saying, what do we even do now? You know, that Kana traded with us? Are we saying Kana traded with us? Like Gin says, now hardly had any tokens. Yeah, I guess, so Kana traded us for this? She couldn't have been the one to take the sacrifice from Sarah. Wait, so I guess like she would take the sacrifice in the hopes that someone would pick her? Or maybe it's, maybe? Then is now the one with the least likelihood?
Wait, please. This isn't right. Big Sis Now, it seems like you were winning for a second there now. Least likelihood, are you going to kill me with such vague reasoning?
Oh, no, it's not. It's not winning. It's like, yeah, they will kill her because she's not the sacrifice. That's crazy, man.
Please have a discussion.
What's so crazy about this as well, and this is, again, what this game does so well. This is Now. This is the lovely Now. This is the character that we adore. She's so sweet and so nice, and she's gone through so much, and she's been through so much. But this game turns everyone into a feral monster. Not everyone, but I'm saying that this game changes people's perspectives. There's not a split second outside of this game that if these people all knew each other outside of this game, that these people would ever mean to know. And I guarantee you with that. But it turns people into, because again, it's about survival of everybody. And what everyone's thinking is, well, it's going to be horrible, but if we kill now, then all of us live and only need the sacrifice and now die. But then that means Kana now would die if Kana's a sacrifice. And you know what I mean? That when you think about that, in the midst of this game, when everyone's panicking, everyone has their like emotions on high. Them saying like thinking let's kill now. They didn't say it outright, but let's pick now. Right? From our perspective, we're like, that's horrible, man. But from their perspective, it's like, we gotta save our lives. I'm not sitting here defending actions in this game all the time, but I just think it's interesting always to think like your mentality in this game would be freaking destroyed at this point. In my view, it'd be so freaking destroyed.
You're right. We can't end this discussion.
What are you saying?
I just remembered something. There was a way anyone could get tokens. Miss Sarah, you know it too, don't you?
Alice's body? My iPad, which is like literally like over like by like over by the other like stuff that I keep here near like a few controllers. I said Miss Sarah, and it activated Siri. And then I said, you know too, don't you? And it said I'm pretty happy with my configuration. From Alice's body. By stealing tokens from Alice's body.
I knew you could do it. Big Sis Now wouldn't do such a thing, meow.
But it's true. When I went to check the body, the tokens were already gone. And Now was closely inspected the room of lies. It ain't just Now who could have done it. Couldn't any of us have gotten those tokens? Yeah.
In other words, everyone has the potential to possess the sacrifice.
That is so freaking crazy that we're at a point now where it's like anyone could be the sacrifice again, you know?
It all ends with a game of trust.
It started with a game of trust, ends with a game of trust. then the last action is going to be the key. What were each of us doing at the time of the 5th trade?
As in, just before the main game started, woof. Hope you can find the sacrifice.
And again, the laughter there again as well. We have to determine based on So, Kana, and Nao's actions at the time of the 5th trade.
I was sitting on the stairs thinking back at everything that had happened. I was on the laptop in the winner's room the whole time. Will you believe that?
Will you believe that's such a crazy line? Because again, he knows he has us like a little bit confused.
That's what I'm talking about. He knows how to manipulate a situation. And he knows how to like sometimes stay calm in a situation that is frantic. Kana wasn't really doing anything, just wandering absent-mindedly.
Did anyone else see the trade we were doing?
I was now on the stairs for most of the time. I was searching all by myself to see if there was any other exits. Meow.
So, I'm actually going to end the video here. And we're coming back in the next one fresh as a daisy, hopefully. To talk about to kind of like get through the rest of the stuff here as well. This was I'll turn down the audio for you guys and for me as well. This was a absolute masterpiece in how the main game can change and warp and destroy your emotions and change your perspective and constantly change how you trust somebody and constantly change how you feel about somebody. This is like legitimately like what that is. I feel like coming towards like the end of this, even as I said, even though like I will never sit here and be like, oh, poor soul, you know what I mean? But it's one of those situations where, like, as I said, he is like an interesting character. Now, here's the thing. I want to say this too. Like, there will be a poor soul if, like, you know, if my, you know, conclusions are correct and like there is a problem with his mind, that something has happened that he can't, you know, that he believes everyone is out to get him. Because he does, I think he genuinely does believe Sarah is out to get him. But what I'm saying is that, like, I don't, you know, there's not a trusting thing between me and So. But as a character, like, he puts life into this game like, I don't know, man, like icing on a donut. Like, you know what I mean? He puts life in this game like adding like seasoning to fries. It is a, maybe it's a bad analogy. Maybe maybe the best analogy is he adds life to it, like putting like it's almost like putting gasoline on a fire. It's like it's gonna spread everywhere, it's gonna burst everywhere, but like, oh my god, all of a sudden everything's exciting and frantic. I shouldn't say exciting. If there's a big gasoline fire, it's not exciting, but it's frantic. It's panic-inducing. But in a game, it's fun for us because we get to go through these mechanics. It's stressful, but it's fun, right? Because we get to deal with all these different like things coming at us. In real life, it wouldn't be that fun, and that's what we always say about these games. For us, it's terrifying. It's nerve-wracking. I'm nervous. I have anxiety playing this. Imagine how they feel in the game. Because while we're having fun with this like mechanics in the game and figuring out who has the cards and all this stuff and all these mini games and like all this stuff too, these characters have to deal with So's manipulation and you know, the constant changing of like the situation and all this stuff too. And I feel like that's what would be very terrifying. Because what So did in this episode to me is pretty like, from the perspective of So's plans here, what he did without barely doing anything shows why he is one of the most dangerous characters, and also like it's hard not to sit here and be like, that's kind of impressive. And I hope everyone realizes when I say this, because like, again, I've called it out many times. I don't know how many times I should say it, but it's just like, I'm not here sitting going like, So is morally good. You know, So is trustworthy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying as a character, like what he's able to do by doing barely anything sometimes it's adds such a layer to the game that it's terrifying. It's terrifying how much he can like take a situation that seems like he is on the ropes and all of a sudden we're just back in a discussion. I feel like it's like, you know, when you skip a DVD like forward and like at the start of the DVD, everyone's like having like a drink and stuff like it's doing. You skip to like 20 minutes in and there's like a big fight where everyone's fighting in the streets. Then you skip to 25 minutes in and everyone's having a drink. That's what So feels like. Where it's like, although even though we have an explanation between, where it's like you start off and it's like So is accusing people of stuff. They turn around and go, well, actually, So we were working together this whole time, and actually you're the one who's lying. And you're the one who's bullcrapping and all this stuff too. And then what's crazy is once we realized about the tablet and Katara not having the tablet the whole time, as I said, there's two options that happened here. It's either that So did know about all the card trades beforehand and was way ahead of the plan. That's a possibility number one. Or he didn't, and now that the doubt was put in their guys' minds, if he knew it, he just didn't tell them, and now he's trying to use that to his advantage. Either way, it puts him in a more scary position, but also as insane in terms of writing. He is like legitimately like the character that you are most. It's the way I look at it is I'm always interested to see what he's going to do next. Whenever he shows up on the screen, I'm like so scared, you know. But also there's like a masterful amount of intrigue and wondering what he's going to do and trying to decipher his feelings and decipher his emotions. Because then I don't think he's a one-note character of just like, I'm the manipulator. And I've never really played games, because I played Danganronpa where there's like manipulative characters, but they're not one-note whatsoever. There's stories and movies where you'll have characters that are like manipulators, and it's like, actually, perfect example. There's a show called, I shouldn't say it. There's a show, because I don't want to spoil it, but there's a zombie show that I really like. But there's one character who's manipulating everybody, but it's so freaking obvious. So every time he's on screen, he's not fun to be around. He's not this character that's like, you know, he's so smart and he's so good at all this stuff. It's like, how are people believing him at all? You know what I mean? Because it's one of those situations where he's like, legitimately, like, I'll give an example of one thing like he does here. Like, you know, he opens up a door for like a zombie to come into a room here. And then someone sees him walking away from the door and he goes, oh, I was just checking on stuff. And he like walks away and like nobody suspects him. And he's even able to convince people to do stuff afterwards. And again, the show is great 90% of the time. But when he's on screen, it's like, it's just a failed injection of a manipulative character. The reason why So is such a good manipulative character is because it's believable that he could manipulate these characters. It's believable that people would put doubt in that he was doing something. It's believable that some characters might trust him. It's believable that now might put their trust in So, that he could get us out of here. You know what I mean? Because everyone has different perspectives and sees these people from different perspectives. But as I said in that movie and the show I was watching, it's like, it took me out of it. It took me out of the story completely to be like, how could you believe him? And I think, you know, if you are someone who's like has a critique of like So and is like, well, how could they believe So and this and that and that? He's already done manipulation in the first game. I think the answer you would have is, then from Connor's perspective, for example, is I also was lying at times. You know what I mean? And again, it's a different type of lie. It wasn't him trying to like punish anybody or like manipulate anybody, but like Joe also told a fib. In this whole game, technically, we're thinking Keiji told a fib against us. And possibly lied the whole time too. So it's one of those situations where like, I don't think people hold each other to the same standards of like who they are as beings within the game versus outside the game all the time. But it seems to be like they do like kind of like, you know, not like So in some ways in that way too. But what I'm saying is like with So, he's believable in a sense because he doesn't overdo it. And when he is backed into a corner, he like believably scurries out. It's not a situation where people go like you're watching, you're going, how did they let him out of this? How didn't they pressure him with this? Why the hell didn't they pressure him with this? Like in the first game, I think I asked that question, but then I was definitely corrected in the game, and also like for a few of you guys too. I think the reason why like a lot of people, because I was like, oh, they trust Sarah, but it's like, no, well, they don't really know Sarah either, you know? It's like they're still doubtful of everybody. Now they know a bit more, but they still put up a good way of doing this. And as I said, the way they did this to make it believable that he scurried out of this was that they put themselves in a mind knot, and he just let them do it. They let themselves be like, oh, maybe he's lying, but maybe he's not. Maybe he's trying to lie. Maybe he's doing this. And So was like, maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. And So realized this. And again, it's not me saying like, oh, So I love it. He's so genius and smart. Oh my God, So. But I'm saying in terms of like writing a character who is like 2 steps ahead of this stuff, he's actually well written in that sense. And as I said in this episode, if I'm So and someone says to me, you're going to die now, So, and I have a way of tricking them into not killing me, oh my God, I'm taking it 10 times over. Your turn to die, So. What if I'm lying? What if it's truth? You know, he's gonna let them tie themselves in knots. So he was able to get out of that corner there, but we don't know how he got out of the corner. Did he get out of the corner because he had a master plan all along? Or did he get out of the corner because he like maneuvered his way through this plan to like realize that they think he has a plan? And either way, it's like, he knows he has this kind of like stranglehold in the game. And what's so interesting about it too in Soul's perspective, and we're talking a lot about Soul because Soul was a focal point of this episode. Like, he talked about Sarah and the perspective of Sarah and what he thinks about Sarah. And Sarah to him is kind of confirmed is a wolf in sheep's clothing, which we knew this already. The vision he had with her with a knife attacking him was very clearly like he believes that there's... I wonder if it's like a thing where just like he's met people like Sarah before. He thinks that like there's no way someone could be this but reliable, it is nice or whatever. I'm not sure exactly what the perspective he has is. But what I do know is that like he definitely sees her as more dangerous, and he wanted to realize that for sure if that was the case. And I think as well, that's why when he said to Sarah, like, oh, you traded your sacrifice card for someone else. And again, he could have been lying about his perspective there as well. But I think as well, he's probably thinking to himself, maybe this will prove that she's more dangerous than she is if she gives her sacrifice card to someone else. He's looking for any avenue to prove this because, again, I think it's a mental problem. Not in a derogatory way. I hope it doesn't sound like that. But I mean in terms of like, I think he genuinely like goes, okay, I'm right in this sense. I know I'm right. Because he always says something, like you heard him in the trials, why aren't people believing me? And that's what makes him an interesting character. Even with all the manipulation and the lies he said before, he's still confused as to why people won't believe him, because in his eyes, he's looking around the place and he sees Sarah and he goes, she's not nice. She's lying. There's no freaking way that she is this good of a person. There's no freaking way. So now he has this vendetta against us. He's always putting stuff on us. And he almost wants to see our reactions sometimes. But yeah, I just think he's an interesting character. I think he's so well written. And I think that it's a character that like... and I think it's about any character. I think if you took every single character out of this game, in this game, the game gets 20% worse for me because I love these characters. They're so interesting. But I think the likes of So... and I don't agree with that actually. I was going to say So, if you take him out, it's 50% worse. Because here, if you took Gin out of this game, the heart of a lot of the heart of the game gets ripped out of it. If you take Kana out of this game, a lot of the like emotional weight that can happen to someone from losing somebody falls out of it. If you take Now out of this game, you take out the beautiful moments of her like reaffirming herself and like, you know, being such a great character and like realizing this plan and realizing Mishima was fake. You take out that journey with her as well. You take out the mysteriousness of Keiji. You take out the very like shakiness but like emotional nature of Kotaro. Like I was gonna say like So, if you took him out, was like 50% worse. I think everyone, if you took everyone else, it would just be a worse game because they are just like so well written and so well characterized that like I wouldn't want this game without any of these characters. They're all very interesting to me and they're all really, really great characters to me. I think that the way they've done the thing this time with the cards and showing the trading of the cards, we like to think that we're resistant to what they're trying to do here, but they've done exactly what they're trying to do here, and they accomplished everything when it comes to the game. They have made this a game of buying and selling trust and a game of trust. And So said it himself. We have ended up in a state here now where we don't know who to trust, we don't know who we can trust. And trust has changed over time. We don't trust, we're supposed to trust Keiji, and Keiji was supposed to do this big like gesture of trust, but now that might not be true as well with his gesture of trust. This whole time we were working with Keiji on this plan, and at the same time he was working with Kotaro on the sidelines for a plan as well. There's the Alice body thing they brought up too, because now it's a whole situation of like who would have picked up stuff off of Alice's body. We have all these little things here, and I said to myself, I don't want to buy into the game of trust at all, but the game has kind of forced us to buy into the game of trust. We are playing a game of who could do this and who do we trust that could do this, and who's lying and who's telling the truth. The trading of the cards just made it worse because now it's like all jumbled. Like, oh, you traded this card for this card, but wait, how could you trade this if you didn't trade this? Well, you lied to me about trading this card? It adds a whole new layer of a lack of trust. So they've accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. They've created a game where like we're pointing the fingers again, you know? And just on a side note there as well, like as I said with So, I know So also had no problem pointing out people that had to die in the first game, right? So like people might say it's like, well, like, you know, is it hypocritical to say like for So to be like, hey, don't pick me? But my whole thing is this, right? Is that the main villain of this game will always be the people over this game. That doesn't negate anyone's actions against. Like, for example, like I don't just say that about everything. And like you guys have seen my Danganronpa playthrough, I say the victims of this game are everybody in this game. Even the murderers sometimes are victims. Sometimes. But it's one of those situations where that doesn't mean we excuse every action. Like, for example, if Katara walked up right now to, I don't know, or let's use it because I feel like, we're being very like praising of So's character, even though like I'm not praising him as a personality, I'm praising his character and how great he is. Let's say like So walked up to Katara right now, and see, here's the issue, right? It depends on the situation. I'm trying to give a good analogy here. I'm saying that if So walked up to Katara and did something so horrific, just for the fun of it, I'm not gonna sit there and go like, well, it's the game, But if it's one of those situations where like we've had in other games like Last Defense Academy, people do drastic things, and you go, well, it's still kind of like the fault of the people that put these people in an enclosed space. You put enough people in an enclosed space for long periods of time, they will do stuff crazy. They will be crazy. And in this sense, what has happened here in this game, as you've seen and talk about the game of Trust, everyone becomes feral in this game. They become feral beings when it comes to this game as well. But yeah, it's an interesting way they've done this. It's so nerve-wracking. It's so interesting. I'm constantly on my toes wondering what's going to happen. It feels like sometimes like I'm like this bystander who can't do anything. I'm like, please, no, don't do that. Don't do that. It feels really, really strange that way. They've done a really good job of like creating the anxiety and like making the anxiety even like more potent is the word I would use for it. Potent, right? It's even more potent. So it's actually really, really powerful in that sense. And like they've just exasperated it. They really, really have. Yeah. It just isn't good though, by the way. Like, cause now like they're on the route of like possibly blaming either Now or Kana as well. It's just never gonna be good. It's never gonna feel good. It's never gonna feel good. It just isn't. Because again, as we said, there's no one here we really want to die, at all. But what it's proven is once again is that people will lie and people will tell fibs. It's not just So. People will fib. People will keep things from you. This is gonna happen more and more. And when there's less people, it's gonna become even more hurtful because you're gonna get closer and all this stuff too. I have no idea who's gonna die here, of course. But we will see that in the next episode, I suppose, as well. Sorry for the long-winded discussion there, but I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts out about So as a character. I think that it's one of those situations where, as I said during this episode, he genuinely is a character who like sees the world in a different way. He sees Sarah in a different way. He is manipulative, but I genuinely think that he thinks that he's doing this for like a greater good. I genuinely think that. I want to say thank you so much to everyone who watched this video. Thanks so much for supporting me and supporting this series. If you want to see these videos early, you can see them on YouTube members or on Patreon for the lowest tier, €1 or whatever it is in your currency. If you want to see your name go across into text credits, that's €10. And if you want to hear your name read out at the end of every single video as a shout out, that is €15. I want to say thank you first of all to the patrons of the highest tier, that being Typharo2, Jamie Bull, Johnny the Banana, The Ghost of Inazuma, Delicious Felix, Yuled, Anusta, The Assassin, True Peanut Butter, Peter Shelson, Leon, Hike Kasparian, Neo Showrite, Leah 200, Malcolm Kunde, and at the highest tier of my YouTube, Blasco and Musanagi. See you guys soon. Bye bye.